What if I told you there are movies so dangerous that governments still refuse to let you watch them? Decades after release, these films remain locked away, not for bad acting, not for shaky cameras, but because they showed a raw, violent, ugly side of the 1960s that censors couldn't control. Biker gangs, psychos, real animal cruelty, drug trips that terrified politicians. These 15 pictures were banned then, and most are still banned now. Ready to see what they tried to bury? Number 15, The Born Losers, 1967. Let's kick off with the movie that made Sweden say absolutely not 3 separate times. The Born Losers introduced Billy Jack, a half-Native American ex-Green Beret who walks into a California beach town ruled by a brutal motorcycle gang. The bikers abduct a young woman. They trap her in a cabin. They take turns brutalizing her off-screen, but the aftermath is shown in horrible detail. When Billy Jack finally snaps, the violence becomes a bloody sermon. He beats faces into pulp. He uses martial arts before martial arts was cool. He executes gang members one by one. Swedish censors banned the film in 1968, then again in 1972, then again in 1975, fearing copycat violence. New Zealand and Norway followed. Even today, you cannot buy an uncut version in most of Europe. The film's raw hatred for authority made it a target. The original remains a forbidden relic. Your government probably still says no. Number 14, 5 Minutes to Love, 1963. Imagine breaking down on a deserted road. You walk to a junkyard hoping for a phone. Instead, you enter a nightmare of rusty metal and broken mines. Ben's car dies. He stumbles into Harry's junkyard, a place where human decency has been dead for years. Harry frames Ben as a stolen car supplier. Meanwhile, Edna, Ben's girlfriend, arrives looking for him. She gets chased by Blowhard, a dim-witted giant who communicates in grunts and leers. The film never shows the worst moment, but the tension is unbearable. Spain banned this movie outright, calling it degenerate propaganda. South Africa kept it locked away for 3 decades because censors said it would incite racial panic. Even today, 5 Minutes to Love is almost impossible to find uncut. The original negatives were held in legal limbo for years. Why all the fuss? The film suggests ordinary people can turn into monsters in under 5 minutes. That idea was too dangerous for polite society. And maybe it still is. Number 13, Wild in the Streets, 1968. What if teenagers lowered the voting age to 14, then threw every adult over 30 into concentration camps? That is not a dystopian novel. That is a movie. Max Frost, a rock star, runs for U.S. Senate on one platform: legalize drugs for kids and imprison the elderly. He wins. The film turns into a psychedelic nightmare where parents are rounded up and force-fed LSD until their brains turn to jelly. Brazil banned this movie within weeks. The government saw Max Frost as a how-to manual for youth rebellion. Several U.S. school districts confiscated 16mm prints from libraries. France banned it after the May 1968 riots, fearing student uprisings. Wild in the Streets does not show graphic violence in the traditional sense. Its brutality is psychological. It asks, what if young people actually had power? The answer involves senators being force-fed LSD and a mother sent to a camp for turning 21. The final sing-along anthem, 14 or Fight, while images of caged adults flicker, got the movie banned in several Canadian provinces. You want teenage anarchy? Censors made sure you could never legally see this one. Number 12, Spider Baby or the Maddest Story Ever Told, 1967. A family of cannibals in a decaying mansion, a chauffeur who protects them, greedy relatives who show up to claim an inheritance not knowing they are about to become dinner. Lon Chaney Jr. plays Bruno, the loyal driver who keeps the 3 merry children locked in the basement. They suffer from a disease that makes them regress into primal savagery. The oldest, Virginia, loves to stab people with a kitchen knife and then sing nursery rhymes. Elizabeth has a spider obsession. She captures victims in webs of rope, Ralph acts like a feral animal. When the relatives arrive, Virginia serves them possum stew. The lawyer gets stabbed on camera. The final act is a bloodbath. The UK banned Spider Baby as a video nasty, calling it a celebration of homicidal mania. Germany and Finland kept it off shelves for years. Even today, the uncut version is restricted in several European countries because of a scene where Elizabeth giggles while dragging a half-dead man across the floor. That scene lasts 2 minutes. Censors said it was 2 minutes too many. Number 11. The Glory Stompers, 1967. Dennis Hopper plays Chino, leader of a motorcycle gang, and he is terrifying because he smiles while doing terrible things. Chino and his crew capture Daryl, a rival biker, and his girlfriend Chris. They beat Daryl nearly to death. Then they leave him tied to a tree while they take Chris on a road trip from hell. Chris is passed around the gang. The camera does not linger, but it lingers on her blank eyes and split lips. Daryl survives through pure hatred. He hunts Chino across 2 states. The final confrontation ends with Chino thrown off a cliff. Finland banned the Glory Stompers in 1968 for glorifying sexual violence. West Germany followed in 1970. Norway kept it locked until 2005. What made censors so angry? A scene where Chino forces Chris to kiss his boots while his gang laughs. That simple humiliation, no blood, no nudity, was considered too degrading for public consumption. The film also features a real motorcycle crash that nearly killed a stuntman. You can hear bones break on the soundtrack. For decades, the only way to see this movie was on bootleg VHS tapes. Today, it remains banned in several Middle Eastern countries because of its anti-authority message. Number 10. Mudhoney, 1965. Russ Meyer made this movie before he became famous. Mudhoney is set during the Great Depression in Missouri. A drifter named Calef comes to a small farm run by a brutal man named Sidney who beats his young wife Hannah every night. Calef falls for Hannah. He tries to protect her. Then the town preacher whips up a lynch mob. They chase Calef through a muddy swamp. They hang him from a tree, but the branch breaks. He survives and kills Sidney with a pitchfork. New Zealand banned Mudhoney outright in 1966. The censor board wrote that the film depicts cruelty as entertainment. The United Kingdom allowed a heavily cut version. They removed every scene where Sidney hits Hannah, leaving the movie at 45 minutes, making no sense. But the uncut version remained forbidden for 20 years. Why such anger? Because Mudhoney shows a preacher leading a lynching, a man of God. That image was called blasphemous and depraved. Even today, Mudhoney is hard to find. The original negative was stored in a barn and nearly destroyed. Russ Meyer rescued it himself. Several streaming platforms refuse to carry the uncut version, saying the domestic violence is too realistic. They are right, but that is why we are talking about it. Number 9. Night of Evil, 1962. A high school cheerleader walks into a poker game. She walks out a different person. Ellen goes from pom-poms to armed robbery in under 90 minutes. She borrows money from the wrong gambler. She owes a debt she cannot repay. The gambler forces her into a strip club, then into holding up a gas station. The climax ends with a security guard shot in the chest. The final shot is Ellen walking into a women's prison with zero hope of parole. The United Kingdom banned Night of Evil in 1963 under the Obscene Publications Act. The BBFC said the film invites sympathy for a criminal while making corruption look glamorous. Canada banned it the same year. 3 U.S. cities, including Dallas, seized prints. The director filmed the club scenes like a music video. Bright lights, smoky rooms, Ellen laughing while taking off her gloves. Not her clothes, her gloves. That was enough. Night of Evil has never been released on DVD. A few 16mm prints survive. Every few years, someone tries to screen it. The police usually show up, not because anyone is naked, but because the film's message is that the system creates criminals, then punishes them. That message still burns today. Number 8. The Trip, 1967. Peter Fonda plays a TV commercial director going through a divorce. His friend Bruce Dern gives him LSD for the first time. What follows is 82 minutes of psychedelic chaos, swirling colors, distorted faces, screaming laughter, then silence. Roger Corman directed. He actually gave LSD to some crew members, not actors but camera operators. They filmed while tripping. The result feels like a bad trip feels, confusing, threatening, and strangely beautiful. Arizona banned the trip within a month. Texas followed. The mayor of Dallas called it a how-to manual for drug abuse. The United Kingdom banned it outright in 1968, writing that the film contains no condemnation of drug taking whatsoever. That was true. The trip ends with Fonda walking on a beach laughing. He has not learned a lesson. That was unacceptable to governments fighting the counterculture. A theater owner in Florida was arrested for showing it. Even today, the trip is banned in several countries, including Japan. The original negative was reportedly damaged in a fire. Some say Corman buried the best scenes because they were too real. Either way, the trip remains a forbidden document of the 1960s drug revolution. Number 7. Wild for Kicks, 1960. Also known as Beat Girl, this British-French production shocked both sides of the Atlantic. A teenage girl named Jenny discovers her new stepmother used to be a Parisian stripper. Jenny rebels by diving into London's Soho beatnik scene. Coffee shops, underground clubs, shows where women dance behind silhouetted screens. The film shows nothing explicit, but the suggestion was enough. Several U.S. cities banned Wild for Kicks, including Boston and New Orleans. The Boston censor called it a public health threat to minors. Australia banned it until 1965. The British Board of Film Classification demanded 7 cuts. What were they so afraid of? A scene where Jenny watches a dancer through a keyhole. The dancer is never nude, but Jenny's face, wide eyes, parted lips, tells the audience everything. That reaction shot was considered obscene. The film also features an early Christopher Lee as a sleazy club owner. Today, Wild for Kicks is still banned in several countries because of its corrupting influence on youth. The irony is that it is a cautionary tale. Jenny ends up alone and ashamed. But no one remembers the ending. They remember the forbidden keyhole. And that is why censors locked it away. Number 6. The Sadist, 1963. 3 teachers driving to a Dodgers game take a wrong turn. Their car breaks down outside a wrecking yard. A young man named Charlie emerges with a pistol and a smile. He looks like a high school quarterback. But Charlie and his girlfriend Judy spend the next 80 minutes playing a deadly game. Charlie forces the teachers to kneel. He makes them beg. He shoots one in the leg for fun. He laughs when a pregnant woman cries. The Sadist is based on the real-life killing spree of Charles Starkweather. That realism got the movie banned. The United Kingdom listed The Sadist as a video nasty for 15 years. Germany banned it for glorifying senseless violence, noting that Charlie has no motive, no trauma, no backstory. He is simply evil. That made the film too dangerous. Finland banned it twice. The director shot on a real wrecking yard with real junk cars. The sweat on the actors' faces was real. Charlie casually shoots a man and then asks for a soda. That casualness is what censors could not stomach. Even today, The Sadist is banned in several Middle Eastern countries. The original uncut version was lost for decades. When found in 2005, the MPAA still refused to rate it. A ghost film about a ghost killer. Number 5. Motorpsycho, 1965. Russ Meyer strikes again with a biker movie that swaps leather jackets for pure psychosis. 3 violent bikers ride through Nevada destroying everything. They break into a veterinarian's home. They beat his wife unconscious. They set fire to his clinic. The veterinarian survives. He teams up with a widow whose husband was killed by the same gang. They track the bikers into the desert. The final confrontation is brutal. The veterinarian uses a rifle. The widow uses a tire iron. The bikers use a chainsaw. Sweden banned Motorpsycho in 1966, calling it a systematic celebration of sadism. Norway followed. The Swedish censor wrote an 8-page report arguing that revenge as justice was against Swedish law. But the real trigger was a 45-second scene where bikers force a woman to dance while throwing beer bottles at her bare feet. Glass cuts her toes. She keeps dancing. That scene got the movie banned in 3 countries. Finland banned it for a single shot of a real motorcycle crash where a stuntman's leg bends the wrong way. Today, Motorpsycho is still restricted in several European nations. The uncut version exists only on bootleg DVDs. Meyer's estate refuses to release it for streaming, so it stays in the shadows. Number 4, Vixen, 1968. Vixen is the movie that went to the Supreme Court. Vixen is married to a Canadian bush pilot. She gets bored, so she plays games with a Mountie with a married couple, and even with her own biker brother. The film also features a draft-dodging black friend treated with shocking hostility, including words that would get any movie canceled today. Canada banned Vixen in 1968 under the Customs Tariff Act, calling it obscene and depraved. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned an Ohio ban, but only after 5 years of legal battles. The city of Cincinnati kept its ban. To this day, you cannot screen Vixen within city limits. What enraged censors? Not adult situations. Vixen's attitude. She never apologizes. She never learns. She walks through the movie causing chaos and grinning. The Canadian censor wrote that Vixen celebrates destructive female power. The British board demanded 23 cuts, removing every moment where Vixen laughs at the men she has ruined. Without those laughs, the movie makes no sense. The uncut version remains banned in several countries, including Singapore. Vixen won the legal battle but lost the cultural war. Number 3, Faster Pussycat, Kill, 1965. 3 go-go dancers, a stolen car, a kidnapped girl, a desert ranch hiding a fortune. Faster Pussycat, Kill. Kill is Russ Meyer's masterpiece of mayhem. Varla, played by Tura Satana, can kill a man with her bare hands and then complain about the mess. She leads her trio of thrill-seeking women to an old rancher's house. The rancher is in a wheelchair with 2 sons. The family has money buried somewhere. Varla decides to take it. What follows is betrayal, brute force, and a final fight on top of a speeding dune buggy. Finland banned Faster Pussycat in 1965 for excessive sadistic violence. West Germany kept it banned for 12 years, writing that the film presents brutality as entertainment for all ages. Sweden allowed a release, but only after cutting 7 minutes of dialogue where Varla threatens to break a man's spine. That dialogue was the heart of the movie. Without it, Varla became a cartoon. Faster Pussycat has a cult following, but the uncut version is still banned in Iceland and Norway. The Icelandic censor called it a danger to public morals as recently as 2010, because the movie suggests women can be just as cruel as men. That idea was radical in 1965. In some parts of the world, it is still too radical to screen legally. Number 2, Bad Girls Go to Hell, 1965. Doris Wishman directed this nightmare on a budget of $35,000. Ellen is a housewife. One day, the janitor forces his way into her apartment. She fights back. She kills him. Self-defense, but Ellen does not trust the police, so she runs to New York City. Over 65 minutes, she meets a parade of predators. A cab driver who takes her to the wrong neighborhood. A boss who offers safety in exchange for obedience. A roommate with a son who is a cop. Every time Ellen tries to build a new life, someone tears it down. The film ends with her sitting alone in a bus station, face blank, nowhere left to run. New York censors seized prints, calling it an instruction manual for moral decay. Texas banned it the same year, writing that the film encourages sympathy for a killer. But the real problem was a scene where Ellen screams at her own reflection for 10 seconds. No violence, just a scream. That scene triggered censors across the country as psychologically damaging. Bad Girls Go to Hell was banned in Canada until 1972, banned in Finland until 1985. The original negatives were lost. Every time someone tries to restore it, legal threats appear. The film remains in purgatory, too brutal for streaming, too real for comfort. Number 1, A Dog's Life, 1962. We saved the worst for last. A Dog's Life is not about a dog. It is a Mondo shockumentary, a fake documentary made of real footage showing the darkest corners of human existence. Animal sacrifices in religious rituals, caged birds plucked alive, a bullfight where the bull dies slowly, a snake skinned while moving, but the animal cruelty is only half. The film also shows scarification ceremonies, fasting rituals that border on starvation, a man eating broken glass for money. The director claimed everything was real. They just watched and recorded. The United Kingdom banned A Dog's Life in 1964 under the Cinematograph Films Animals Act, a law written specifically because of movies like this. Norway banned it for 30 years. Finland still bans it today, writing that the film has no artistic merit and exists only to exploit suffering. Even in countries where the ban lifted, the movie is heavily cut. The full, uncut version runs 90 minutes. The German version is 42 minutes. The missing footage includes a 5-minute sequence of a chicken being torn apart by dogs, filmed on a real farm with no special effects. A Dog's Life is the only movie on this list banned for animal cruelty in every country that reviewed it. But the human cruelty is equally disturbing. A woman laughing while her child cries during a ritual. A crowd cheering while a goat is dragged through the streets. This film is a mirror held up to humanity's worst impulses, and the censors decided we should not be allowed to look. That is the list. 15 movies that governments fought to keep away from you. Some are lost, some are hidden, none are forgotten. If you want more forbidden cinema history, hit like and subscribe. The next list might be even darker.